Hey Woodturners, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. I want you to come in the shop now. I want to show you a few tips, give you a little sale, and try and make your wood turning go a little bit better. But you got a part of this. You know what your part is? That's right. You got to watch. Hey, I'm trying to catch up. Really, I am. I got something for you. And it comes from what you guys call me about and email me about. And number one is, Cap, I turned this beautiful bowl and I got it down to about a 1/4 inch wall thickness. And now I want to turn it over and finish out the bottom. You see what I've got here? I got a nice smooth bottom. Say, how do I do that? Well, I've come up with a couple of ways. But let me tell you what the theorems in the book say. The books say you have to hold this in the expanding jaws, roller jaws, a Tormac. I mean, that ain't the name of it, but I'm fried a little bit, and I don't know all the names. But here it goes. Best way to hold this is with some foam and some duct tape. And it's relatively simple. And once you make one, and you learn how simple it is to make it, and change it, and use it, you won't go back to those more expensive it's a version of a Longworth with the jaws that go in and out. There's a couple other ones with wheels and all. You won't go back to any of that. Why? This is easier and cheaper. And boy, you're talking my angle when you say easier and cheaper. So right now, let me explain to you what we're going to do. And then let's see if we can do it. I got to straighten up this mess. This is driving me crazy. When I say this is driving me crazy, here's the deal. 15 months ago, I had a brain tumor removed, and I'm trying to work myself back into the shop. But my inner self is saying, hey doofus, you're still not capable of doing what you need to do to get back in the shop. So you got to take it easy. And that's what I'm going to do. But tomorrow is the day to put trash cans out. And I have 4 trash cans. I'm going to get them tomorrow, and I'm going to get in here. And I'll be throwing away stuff that you and I might have thought had some value at one time. It has no value to me. I can't get my thought processes well enough to actually work on them. So I'm going to straighten up, throw out, move in, move out, and all that. Then I can get back to turning wood and starting all over again. And that's what I'm having a problem with. When they took out the brain tumor, they took out some of the brain. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I want to hold this piece to put a finish on it, okay? And finish out the bottom. I'm going to go to this. This is a block of wood. I don't remember what I made it out of, but it's the only thing important is it's not pine, because the grain would be too wide and it would separate. Then I drilled a hole in the back, and I glued in a 1.25 inch 8 nut. Now this nut came from the hardware store right down the street. Now, if 1.25 inch 8 sounds strange to you, it is. And if it's true, I lied to you just now. It's not true. This is not an 1.25 inch 8. This is a 33mm nut. So that's what I have here, 33mm nut. I just forgot what it was. I'm going to put this on here, just like that. And I want to snug it up. It won't turn. Now this is a faceplate. This faceplate, regular spin, is fairly smooth across both faces. Okay? Now if yours isn't, that's okay. Now's the time to take your little turning tool, and I don't care which one you want to use. You can use the more expensive version. You can use my version of carbide or whatever. But you're going to get in here and you're going to clean this up. Make it move. All right, now. This is set. Some on one way, but it can be on your 12 inch, your 1014 mini jet. Now you see, That face is running through. So's that one. So by all standards, this is ready to accept what I'm going to put on it. Now, to put this on it, I just push down in here with a piece of foam pad. For foam pad, I like this stuff made to go on my barbecue pit. It's 1/4 inch thick foam padding, and I'm having it's like a big mouse pad. But hold on, let me see if I got one. Here's the deal. There's foam pad out here, and I don't know where it's at. But when all else fails, you improvise. So I want to turn this, and I want to use this block of wood, and I want to put this bowl on it, and I don't have that pad. I do have paper towel. I will put a pad of paper towel in the bottom of that dish. Put that paper towel up against my lathe like that. That's enough padding. I don't know if you can see it moving. That's enough padding to make it slightly resilient. Not resilient. Slightly rubberized. How's that for a term? Okay. And I'm going to push on that. Now, I've got some more to show you about this block of wood, because you're going to think, that's all I've got? Block of wood? No, I've got the basis for a great design. I'm going to bring up my tailstock here. Put a little pressure on the piece. And watch. Now, I said watch. I can work with that. That's a little bit out, but I can fine tune it just by stopping it and looking at it slowly and tapping it around and around or whatever. I can put the this is the saver. You know what that is. Fits on my lathe face, on my tailstock face, right here. Put that in there. Right here. You do know that if you don't work out here for a whole year, things can be looking right at you, and you'll never know they were there or what they're doing. I was out here the other day just goofing off, looking around, sitting in the chair. I do way too much of that lately, and I clean forgot what was in 2 camera boxes. They're brand new cameras. Guess I bought them a year ago in August. I forgot to even hook them up. Okay, now I've got that in. All I'm doing is touching with the tailstock. You get a lot of friction from it, but there you go. Look at that. Now with that in mind, I know I can tap this around a little bit. Every time I tap it around a little bit, I get a better and better touch. The reason I put this on here, and get you over here, you got to bear with me, okay? The reason I put this on here, this is wood. It's on a one-way revolving center. It is a block of wood that I drilled with 5/16 tap, a drill bit. Then I took a 3/4 10 tap and I tapped it out. Let me show you. I think I have one. Oh, I've got a whole string of them someplace. But it's an easy touch. You can push it against something. I can turn using this with the friction. This would spin right nicely. and I clean this bottom up, and if I make contact, look at it. It stops. And if I make contact with my cutting device, which is the tool, I don't ruin the cutting device. Do you understand how we're doing that? Alright. It's a simple game to play. I'm holding the piece, but I didn't grab the piece. I've got a little friction going at the bottom and the top. And if I make contact with a hard tool, I'm going to stop the live center. Now, what happens when I get down the line and I start cutting that? I need to tighten it up. Just a little bit, just a little more pressure on it. See, now it's a little bit harder, and I'm getting a truer cut. Once I lock my tailstock in place, I'll get a really great cut. I can cut right up to it and slice it off easily. Now, if I'm really worried about it moving, and I mean I really got to be worried about it moving, I will get some of this stranded. I want to have 3 pouches. Okay, it's a back charge from the brain tumor. I want to take some of this stranded banding tape, stretch it around and go around the chuck or the block and anchor this to the block. Just with that tape way out here where I'm working on the very bottom. When I go back to the bottom again, I just bring my tailstock with the live center and that soft touch, push it back up there again, and I can clean up all the other marks. I can sand on this. Now if you get too far out, I'm going to get a finger in this. Hear that? That's skin coming off. Oh. Alright, but I don't need to do that. I can get a good enough grab and push just with that plate. Now, I don't have to do a bowl. This time, I'm getting around and I have this thing set up and I want to clean up the bottom of a plate like this one. Now, I held it over here to turn it. Then I've turned, this is really thin. This is, whoa. This is some thin. You know, this might not go to the trash can. That's smooth enough to be some cypress or something. Very light. I mean, this thing doesn't weigh a half an ounce, alright? But it's not done because it's still got this on it. So I gotta clean this up. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing. I can push up against this faceplate right here. Put the padding on it. Now, you're probably sitting there saying, why has he got the block there? I can put it against a faceplate. Faceplate moving against wood, you're going to have a bright spot or a burn spot. This, if you stop it, you have a cloth. No. Oh. You know, I should just slap myself across the head a couple of times. No rags come to the lathe. You have a paper towel insulating it to keep it from grabbing and from burning. Now that works pretty good for a small plate, but I got a larger one. What am I going to do then? What I'm going to do then, I want to add a larger ring to the face of that. Yeah, a larger piece of plywood. Now, where to get this at? This is one of my layout templates. If I'm cutting a block of wood, and by the way, I have no wood ready to turn in the shop. None. My beloved wife, management, and her dad and some friends came over and cleaned the place up after a windstorm came while I was laying around the hospital. I mean, I'm just in a coma. They figured they had to go clean the place up, and they did quite well. But they also figured all that wood laying around out there, it didn't look real pretty. It was probably trash. I went to the trash. I need wood. Boy, do I need wood. Alright, now, I got a block of wood, and I want to lay out how to cut it, pre-cut it, on the bandsaw before I put it on a lathe so it's not so rickety. If it's jumping around so much you got to anchor the lathe, you got to do something about the wood. You got to decide something to balance it out. I cut the corners off. So I lay this ring over top of this board. I have a center hole in it. I push a nail through the center hole. I line it up on the log where I want it at, and then that becomes my cutout. See it? That becomes the cutout of the piece I'm going to end up with. Now this can be any size. This one is 6.5 or 6 3/8 inches. So I need a 7 3/8. Got one right there. I need an 8 3/8. Got another one right behind it. Have my way down about 3 inches. You guys lay it on a block of wood, knock the corners off, and then I have a larger hole, stick it in there, and hang it to get rid of it. That's where it's going right now. Back up on a peg. Because if I set it down, it'll be down, it'll lay over the lathe, it'll pick up humidity, it'll warp, it won't look good. What the heck. So it hangs. Alright, now I've got the piece cut in for the rough end, and I can go ahead and put it on the lathe. It'll spin truer. Now, let's get into the argument about weighting down the lathe. I'm not a great fan of weighting down lathes. You say, how can you do that? Well, right now I can't easily do it because I have a one-way 24-36. I do turn cowboy hats on it, which are big blocks of wood. They're 17.5 inches when they're half rounds. Pretty good sized block of wood, but I take the corners off with the chainsaw. While it's up here, I go get the chainsaw and I take the corners off to make true a little bit, and then I turn it slowly as I work the corners off. That's the way I get around with the weight down. Now, if you say you saw it on Bob, Bill, or Kenny's show where he put stacks of rebar and sandbags and pallets and small human beings underneath there, that's fine. That's okay. That's what's their argument. Here's my deal. If you do that, you're placing yourself in a little bit of a danger zone. Because the piece that's swinging, if it comes loose, guess who's going to hit first? Oh, me. Guess who can take the hit the least? Me. Guess who's told, don't hit your head, you'll be back in the hospital? Me. So, I've always been a little, with a face like this, I've always had to worry about having something hit me in the face. That not mess up my look, my style, my panache. I mean, you know, I used to do wristwatch ads for Sears. Really, I mean, I could stand there and look at that wrist and, huh? You see that pose? You've seen that in the Sears book, right? All right. So I can't afford it like you can't afford it. And here's another one. Old bones break easy. They don't heal fast. So don't weight the lathe down. Balance out the load. The other thing about that bothered me is, do you know how much extra energy is going to be damaging, excess energy from the moving wood out of center? It's going to damage the bearings on your lathe. That could cause some problems too. So let's balance the loads out a little bit more with a saw, a chainsaw, an electric chainsaw, whatever you need, even a good old-fashioned handsaw, which I love. Just knock the corners off a little bit. Be amazed how much knocking the corners off will do when you're trying to start a piece. It will help a lot. So today, we helped you get the bottom on a bowl. We helped you balance out a plate and create a little faceplate jam chuck type thing that you can use on your lathe. By the way, when you go get the nut that fits your lathe, let's say it's a Mini Jet 1014 or 1221, it's going to use a 1 inch by 8 thread. I believe that's right. You can check that in your specs. Get a couple of those nuts. Get a few up at the hardware store. In fact, make the guy want to give you a couple of spares. When you start making the faceplates, make more. And I'm not a great fan of just taking that nut and gluing it on a piece of plywood and saying, oh, this will work all right. I like it to be in there with a little bit more oomph than just being glued on. And my way of getting that oomph was so simple. I took my Forstner bit and I did a depression. It's about 3/4 of an inch deep. Then I can drive the nut in there with some epoxy on it. It worked out really good. How did I keep the epoxy out of the nut? You see the bottom? You see that blue stuff? That is magic blue tape that you can only get from us at Big Eye Productions. Yes. For $12, I'll cut a couple of strips. And no, I can't do that to you. I know that light stick glue tape from the hardware store. Put that on there, or flashing tape, or duct tape, or masking tape, or the little scotch tape with the stars and the crosses for Christmas. Yeah, it'd be put that on the back side of the nut. When you push it down in there, the glue won't get into the threads. How do I know that? I could find somebody to tell you a story about a wood turner who's chunky like me that ruined a whole bunch of stuff by gluing it and letting the screw in. But we won't go there today, okay? Well, I'm Captain Eddie, and I was sat down here making shavings and showing you what you can do, how you can have some fun. Oh, by the way, Big Guy Productions brings you these presentations. Yeah, we don't have commercials and all that stuff. It's just us, Big Eye Productions. www.eddiecastellan.com. That's it right here. See that? www.eddiecastellan.com. Now, if you go there, you'll find cutters for carbide tools, some sharpening tools, other gizmos, gadgets, templates, layouts, and all that. It's all on a website, and it's all from one turner to another turner. Okay? No big firm, no name and all that. Got that big dog to feed, but hey, don't worry about her. She's just spoiled. And a little bitty one, she's even worse. So, hope I see you soon, talk to you soon, and I have to mention, this is like the 15th of December, 2015, and I'm wishing you all a very Merry Christmas. As politically incorrect as that can be nowadays, I think I'm going to stick with Merry Christmas. You know why? Makes me feel better way down here. And I'm an American veteran. I can feel good way down here. Yeah, all right. Y'all take care, be good, and we'll see you real soon. You see, veteran, see my hat? That's the hat that Ron gave me. Isn't that cool? Air Force. Ammo. The most unloved, no, I won't go all those routes. We were just there when we needed to be there. You take care, be good. Bye now.